What's up, everybody? Welcome back to PG Weekly. I'm Danny Wexelman, filling in for Darren Sutton, and we've got an incredible show for you all today. The lineup, we will give you the best news and notes from around the world of baseball and catch you up on all that good stuff. Plus, an MLB draft preview from our very own Brian Sikowski. They put out the top 400, and we'll break that down with him. And one of those guys who should be going in the first round, the number one right-handed pitcher in the class of 2021, Chase Petty, joins us a little bit later in the show. Let's warm up with a quick trip around the world of baseball, and we start in Minnesota. The Twins' rookie outfielder, Alex Kiriloff, he has officially arrived. Friday, the 2015 perfect game All-American hit the first 2 home runs of his major league career. He backed that up with another on Saturday and then another on Sunday. 4 homers, 9 RBI on the weekend. Massive congrats to Alex. By the way, he was the very first guest on the very first episode of this show back in January. We moved to college. Jordan Patty, right-handed pitcher out of Central Michigan, with the first perfect game in school history on Friday versus Miami of Ohio. 7-inning run rule game, but that does not matter. 21 up, 21 down, 11 Ks. Massive congrats to Jordan. We stay in college. Clemson's Caden Grace on Friday versus number 4 Louisville, a 3 home run game, a grand slam, a 3-run homer, and a solo shot. 8 RBI on the night. Clemson swept Louisville. Grace hit .692 in the 3-game set with 4 home runs and 12 RBI. Oh, and by the way, he also pitched an inning and struck out 2 in the game. We move to high school. Jackson Jobe out of Heritage Hall, a righty with a perfect Thursday afternoon on the hill in the opener of a district title doubleheader. Jobe struck out all 15 hitters he faced in a 10-0 win over John Marshall High School. It was a perfect game. Our PG scouts in attendance had him at 93.96 miles per hour with a wipeout slider on display. Draft stock rising big time on the 6'2 righty from Oklahoma. And hey, speaking of draft stock, it is time to bring in Perfect Game's National Scouting Supervisor, Brian Sikowski. Brian, I know that you and the team have been working tirelessly putting together a mock draft, putting together a list of the top 400 guys. And I think this has to be one of your favorite times of the year, putting this list together. You probably lose a lot of sleep, but it's totally worth it, right?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, Danny. It's a labor of love, but it's one that we, and I say we, meaning it's Vinny Servino and I who handle most of it. But it's a labor of love. It's a lot of screaming at each other on the phone at 3 a.m. about things that end up not mattering, but that's part of the process, and we love it. So yeah, it's fun. It's putting together. It's fun. It's a lot of work, but we do enjoy it.
Well, we're super grateful that you guys do that heavy lifting for us. So now we get to talk about it here. And over the next 10 weeks, we'll be previewing different categories of players right here on PG Weekly with you, my friend. So we're going to get started and talk about some of the high school arms. We have Chase Petty joining us in a little bit on the show, the number 1 right-handed pitcher in the class of 2021. But let's start with Jackson Jobe, because I know recently he was perfect, Brian. And we actually had scouts in the stands for that perfect game that he threw. How impressive is he? And what do we expect to see on the draft day, on day number one of the 2021 draft when it comes to Jackson Jobe?
Yeah, the number 1 prep, right, or number 1 prep arm in the class as far as the draft board goes. It was kind of a 3-headed monster of an argument. Jobe, and you mentioned Petty, and Andy Painter is the other one who you and I have talked about before. Jobe kind of won out at the end there. It's the quality of the spin that's doing it for him. He's a spin monster, as he's dubbed in the industry. It's pretty off the charts breaking ball spin, curveball, and slider, and we've all seen the slider. We saw him put it on display at the All-American game last year, and up to 97 this spring too. He's a good athlete. He's also way better than any of us are at golf, which is an interesting little tidbit. But yeah, Jobe is, we expect him to be the first high school pitcher taken in the draft right now, and like you said already, we got 10 weeks to go, but pretty good way to start the playoffs by throwing a 15 strikeout, 15 out perfect game. That's not a bad way to go.
It's kind of amazing. And along with that performance, Chase Petty just recently threw a no-hitter, striking out 18. And he hit a 2-run home run in that game. And Brian, they're coining it the Chase Petty experience. So we're going to ask Chase about that. But I want to ask you about that because we've really watched this kid shine and grow into his own. Hitting 100, he hit 102 in the first game of his season for Mainland. What is to love about Chase Petty?
Well, it's the arm talent, and it's from somewhat of an unassuming, figure too. He's not super big. He's not the most physical dude in the world. He's not 6'6". Like, this is a above average but mostly normal sized human being who's throwing a baseball 102 miles an hour, and he's 18 years old. It's freaky stuff. It's freak stuff. That's reality. I don't know if we're giving it enough credit almost at times. Is this high school kid who throws 102 miles an hour with a better slider, like with a better delivery, with a better arm action. Everything's getting better, and the stuff is maintaining. And it's hard to kind of limit his ceiling. It's hard to say, like, well, he can't do this or he can't do this. I appreciate it for what it is. It's a pretty special arm.
And you mentioned Andy Painter earlier. Both he and Chase Florida commits, but expected to go in the first round, Brian. And Andy Painter out of Calvary Christian, that team is just so loaded with talent. And he's got Renee Lastris behind the plate, catching him there for that program. He is really special, probably one of the goofiest kids that I've ever met. He's unconventional in a lot of ways. Obviously, the height plays into it, but he's just a really good kid who does a really good job on the mound. How does he differentiate himself from Job and Petty?
It's a good question to compare the three. He's the one who looks like he should throw 102. He's 6'7", 220 or whatever he is. But it's a little bit different of a profile. Petty is all fire, all at you, all, shove it down your throat type of stuff. Job, it's the breaking ball that separates him. And Painter, you can kind of say he kind of has that little bit of both, and he's got the size. Painter can get up to 96, 97 with his fastball, maybe even a little bit higher. It's two distinct breaking balls in the curveball and slider, and they're both pretty good, but neither of them are the 7 that Job's are. And it's just kind of the whole package. He throws strikes. We need him to be a little bit more fine with his command so that the strikes aren't so center cut at times, but he is around the zone. He's learning how to control that body as he progressively gets stronger and adds strength to that length, if you want to put it that way. But yeah, just super high upside. We knew it a year ago. We knew it before that he was really, really good. And he's done nothing to dissuade our opinions that he has really high upside.
To be honest, I think if you had a conversation with him, he would be able to convince you that he was the best right-handed pitcher in that class, because that guy just, besides the skill that he has on the mound, I think that he's one of the smartest guys I've come across as well in that 2021 class. A couple other arms, Brian, right-handed pitchers in specific that we're doing this week are Bubba Chandler, committed to Clemson, and Thatcher Hurd, committed to UCLA. What do you like about these arms, and why are they ranked so highly at 26th and 28 on your board?
I'll start with Hurd at 28. He's the name that everybody's kind of been aware of for a while now. He came to PG National last summer, was really intriguing. A big, long, lanky righty up to 93 who could spin a good slider, but it was inconsistent. And it's kind of that classic right-handed projection play, and there's usually a guy or two out of Southern California who fits that profile. He's this year's version. But really like the data on him. The spin profile is high-end. He's athletic. We've seen mid-90s at times. He's still more of a 90-93 guy right now. But just that projection play that somebody like the Dodgers at the back end of the first round will take and turn into a freak, because that's what they do. Bubba Chandler, an interesting one in that he was a pitcher last summer on the circuit. That was the deal. We were evaluating him as a pitcher because, like you said, he is committed to Clemson as a quarterback, and that's kind of a tough commitment considering Clemson and quarterback. But Chandler is also, it's kind of a split camp in scouts right now, whether they prefer him as a switch hitting shortstop or if they prefer him on the mound as a right-handed pitcher. And it almost depends on who you ask what the general preference is for that. So you want to talk about an athlete. This dude's committed to Clemson to play baseball and football as a quarterback, potentially win a national championship, and scouts can't decide if they like him better as a first-round shortstop or a first-round pitcher. And so he's having a good spring.
Yeah, I was going to say there are worse things to have to decide between, right, in life. I think that that's pretty good. And we've seen a lot of guys in the past couple of years, I think, who have such great talent at such a high level. I know Mo Hampton was one of those guys for LSU who had talent of that caliber. So we'll wait and see on Bubba. Brian, lastly, who's the guy that we're not talking enough about, but is ranked so highly on your board pitching wise in high school for right-handers?
I think we have to talk about, and I may butcher this last name, and I will apologize to him if I do, but Ben Kujina from Kansas, who, ironically enough, Travis Ice, the guy, our scout in Kansas City who saw Jackson Jobe, has been all over Kujina this spring as well. But he's a projection guy. He's a guy we liked last summer, rather. It wasn't super loud yet, but it was good. And you buy the athleticism and the arm speed, and now it's peaking. Now instead of 90-93, it's 93-96. And now instead of the slider being kind of below average but flashing average, it's comfortably average and flashing plus. And the things are getting better, and he's being more consistent. And that's the guy I think that right now he's on the outside of the first round. Looking in a month, we might be talking about him in place of one of the guys we already talked about.
Dude, I am so grateful for your time. I know you've been doing this for a long time, but I sincerely appreciate your analogies, your use of words to describe these guys, because they deserve the best, and you always give them the best. We're going to keep doing this over the next few weeks and be able to kind of give a clear picture of the full 2021 draft class. So thanks for hanging out with us this week.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
By the way, Brian Zakowski's JUCO wrap-up airs every Tuesday right here on Perfect Game TV. So please tune in, please hang with us. And in the meantime, one of those highly regarded, unbelievable guys crushing competition will be joining us next. That's South Jersey's Chase Petty, the #1 right-handed pitcher in the class of 2021. You're watching PG Weekly, presented by Rawlings.
Defense, you can always make a play. Create it in your mind. You're always trying to time when the ball is hitting the bat. Wherever I am, I know where it is. One, two, three, I'm gonna have to start jumping. Nothing more satisfying than making a big play.
Welcome back to PG Weekly. Let's check out the Yeti Built for the Wild Perfect Game top-ranked 21 and 22 prep arms on the right side of your screen. You can see Dylan Lesko at the top there in the class of 2022. And on the left side of your screen, the name that you see, Chase Petty, playing for BPC Oilers. And Chase joins us now here on PG Weekly. We got a coveted interview with you, dude. Thank you so much for your time. I'm so excited to catch up with you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so I'll brag on you for a second. The #1 right-handed pitcher and player in New Jersey, the #1 right-handed pitcher in the country in the class of 2021, and the #6 player overall. Let's brag about your senior season for a quick second. You opened the season, Chase, with a complete game, 3 walks, 13 strikeouts. You pump out 102. I know that's something that you're proud of. And just recently, a few days ago, you throw a no-hitter, you strike out 18, and oh, by the way, your run-of-the-mill 2-run home run for Mainland. Coined the Chase Petty experience. Coming off, Chase, really shining at the Perfect Game All-American Classic and then heading into your senior season. What do you think is the most exciting part about this moment for you? Because I know you've been waiting for the opportunity to just show how good you are.
Yeah. I would definitely say the best part leading up to now was definitely building the relationships back with my friends on my high school team. We've been waiting almost 2 years to get back out on the field together, with the whole entire season last year getting canceled. So being back out there with them has kind of it's been personally my spark plug.
Your team is incredible. And just kind of reading about the camaraderie that you guys do have, what was the goal coming into your senior season? Like you said, you guys had, unfortunately, a lot of time off, and now you do get to come together, play for this last year. What's the mentality of your Mainland team?
Definitely just go out there, give it all we have, compete, and bring back a state championship, hopefully.
Yeah, you're on the track to do that, dude. Honestly, you're playing out of your mind right now, and I'm trying to keep up, and I know that everybody is as well. You've got scouts who are attending your games by the dozens behind the plate. No pressure on you, I'm sure. I know that this is always business as usual, but reading about your slider recently and how well it's working for you. So I know you've got a ball with you. So do me a favor. Let's show the slider grip and kind of talk to me head to toe what's happening when you throw that pitch.
So what I do, I actually change the grip. Actually, I showed you in our recent interview when I first started changing it. So it's still the same thing. I come across the horseshoe with my middle finger and then kind of spike my pointer finger. And I really just try to snap my wrist across, really try to come across my body with it. And when I throw it, it's kind of just everything's really the same as my mechanics. Everything's the same. I still want to keep to the same arm slot, same arm speed, but really just pull it across with the grip and with my wrist. And really, over the off season, really just developing it and perfecting the mechanics with it and everything that comes with the pitch. It's been such a huge outlier for me so far because it's now went from probably my second best pitch to now my best pitch by far, my most confident pitch I'm with right now.
We know how hard it is to already hit a baseball, but what you're doing with it is kind of next level. And I saw Pitching Ninja share some of your video. I know that's probably pretty cool for you. It's pretty cool for me to watch a video of you be shared by that guy. And I know that he and Marcus Stroman are also, they have such great communication together. And I know that Stroman's a guy that you look up to.
Yeah.
Just kind of remind me of what you love about Marcus Stroman and how you kind of channel the height doesn't measure heart mentality.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously the biggest really knock on me per se is really my height, my size. So looking at someone like Marcus Stroman who has that fire built in him and having his mentality and the way he goes about himself on the mound and off the mound, is just something I really look up to and I always have. I love the way he competes. That's where I really try to base my competitiveness off of. And really just looking up to him and seeing how he's been performing this year has really just like opened my eyes of how like far having such a tough mentality can really get you in this game.
Well, you've put the work into, dude, and we've seen it. And I honestly love the fact that we've had the chance to watch you grow and kind of become the person that you always knew you could be, but now we really get to see it in the flesh. And so you and Andy Painter, both Florida commits, both top prep arms. The mock draft came out for Perfect Game. I don't know if you're paying attention, dude, but obviously I'm looking at it. You're 10th on the mock board. What does that even mean to you?
Like when I saw that, it was really something that I was really kind of proud of just because I know all the work that I put in and all the talk about how like I would probably fall like late, like first round, maybe even second. So seeing that really opened my eyes that I stand in other people's eyes where I think that I should possibly be. So seeing that was really kind of surreal just because, I mean, that's someone's dream going as high as you possibly can in the draft. And really just seeing that, it made my day, honestly, when I first saw it.
Yeah, it should make your day. I love that answer. I think that's exactly how it should be. And whether or not you're paying attention to the numbers, those numbers are pretty cool to see because you've put in the work and now you get to see the results shining through. I want to finish with a quote from your head coach, Billy Kern. He said, Chase does everything well. He does everything with a smile and he competes. Who has been, Chase, the biggest influence when it comes to your life and your baseball career to have somebody give you such a high compliment like that?
Yeah, definitely my biggest inspiration. As a lot of people know, it's definitely my mom. I mean, seeing what she's went through, just throughout her whole life, really, it's incredible the way that how she handles herself now after everything she's been through. Just seeing the way that she carries herself, the way that she has raised me and my brothers to the men that we are becoming now. It just makes me want to be half the man that she is a woman. I mean, she really is my biggest inspiration by far.
Amazing. Super shout out to mom. We love a chance to talk about her and put some spotlight on her. Dude, good luck with the rest of your senior season. Go win that state championship. And I can't wait to see you this summer. I can't wait to see what the future has in store for you. And I'm always grateful for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Chase Petty has to be one of my favorite interviews. I have sincerely enjoyed watching the kid grow over the past couple of years and really start to shine. The shout out from Pitching Ninja has to be one of the highlights as well. And who knows what else that kid can do. I think the sky's the limit for him. Senior year and in the future for him as well. By the way, he has a tattoo on his arm. It says, "Don't pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure a difficult one." He and his mom both share that same tattoo. And as you heard earlier, she has been the light and inspiration of his life. So I wanted to share that little nugget for you all. Coming up this summer, we've got a full slate for you all. I will be there. I cannot wait to see ya. Junior National Showcase, June 12th through 16th at East Cobb. Our National Showcase, July 14th through 18th in St. Pete. And the All-American Classic back at Petco Park, August 22nd. We cannot wait to see you all there. I want to give a huge thank you to Chase Petty for joining us today. I know he's a busy guy, so I was glad we got a few minutes with him. And of course, Brian Sikowski, our national scouting supervisor for Perfect Game. He and Vinny Servino have been excellent on the draft, and we will get to see a lot more of Brian coming up. For all of you watching, thanks so much for tuning in. And to my crew, thank you so much. I'm Danny Wexelman. We'll catch you next time.